I don't know. I started like using like pills in high school, and that like slowly progressed into like shooting heroin and using crack. And I went to rehab like a few times in New Jersey, but like I never really took it seriously. I just kind of went to appease my mom or my dad or whoever it was at the time. Maybe it was a girlfriend. And I came to Florida on like a whim. I wasn't really planning to come. I was just in a rehab, and they said, "Hey, why don't you go to this place in Florida?" And I did because at the time my insurance company wasn't paying for the rehab in Pennsylvania anymore. So I was like, well, I guess if they'll pay for Florida, I'll go to Florida. And I didn't have any intentions on like staying in Florida. I I went to this rehab and I was there for like 45 days, and they were like, "We think you should go to a halfway house," and I was like kind of open to the idea, but I didn't wasn't like too sure if I really wanted to go or not. But they were like, "Well, why don't you at least take a tour?" So I said, "Yeah." And this guy came and picked me up, the house manager at the time, um, and he like brought me down, showed me the house, showed me like Delray Beach a little bit, and I got like excited, kind of more not because like the area that I saw it, but just to see like how because he talked and he told me a little bit about like where he came from and where he's at now, and it kind of got me excited at the same time. Like I wanted that, like I wanted to have that same thing. So I came to Healing Properties. It was like June or July 2012 or 11, 2011, and it was great. Like I loved it. Like I didn't know what to expect going into it because I'd never lived in a halfway house before. Up until that point, I always thought halfway houses were for people getting out of prison or jail. I didn't know that like recovering drug addicts went to halfway houses. Um, but it was a good feeling getting there and like seeing like there was a lot of camaraderie between all the guys there. Like they were all there for the same thing. Um, Everybody was really nice, which was like surprising for me because you got like up until that point, like for the past few years of my life, nobody like talked to me. Nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. But like going through the wooden gate at Healing Properties, it was like everybody wanted to like say what's up, introduce themselves. They wanted to hang out, go to a meeting. Like I didn't have to put forth like a whole lot of effort to make friends. They just kind of came, and it was cool. Um, Unfortunately, that attempt at staying sober didn't work out. I left to go home for a wedding. I drank at the wedding. I came back. I didn't tell anybody. I ended up getting caught, and I kind of got turned off to the whole like AA and staying sober. So I went back to New Jersey. Only lasted like a month until I came back to Florida. But I knew I wanted to come back to Healing Properties because like I was comfortable there, and I just liked everybody there. I liked the owner. I liked the house manager, the people that were there. Um, that time didn't work out either because I came back, but I didn't like do what they told me to do. Um, I just kind of tried to do my own thing. I did a little bit of what they said to do, but I didn't. I was only doing it because of that, because I knew in order to live there, I had to do these things like go to meetings, work 12 steps. Um, it didn't work again. Long story short, I got my own apartment, ended up drinking and getting high for a long time, for like a year or more. And then I went in and out of a couple more rehabs in Florida. I ended up getting arrested, I put on probation. All this bad shit happened. Um, and when I don't know, there was a night when I got kicked out of the last rehab I was in because I was like shooting crack cocaine in the rehab. I spent like a couple hours outside in the middle of the night, and all I could think about was getting back to Healing Properties. Um, because like I said, it was like my home in Florida. Like it was the only place I ever lived at where I did well, whether it was with a job or just like having a lot of friends and being sober. Like it was the only place I did well. Um, so that night after I spent a couple hours outside, I called the house manager in the morning and I was like, "Look, man, I need help. I can't do this anymore. Like I don't know how to stay sober." And I didn't have any money or anything, but he let me come back in without any money. And I told him, I was like, "Look, man, I'm not going to have any money for a while." And he was like, "I'm not worried about the money. I'm just worried about you actually staying sober this time. And that, like, him saying that was kind of like a moment where I was like, damn, like, this is pretty serious now. That was just about 17 months ago. I stayed at Healing Properties for a year that time, and I did everything. Like, I did everything they told me to do. I did the 12 steps, and I stuck with it. I went to meetings. I made a promise to myself that time that I wasn't going to leave for at least a year. Today, what's my life like? Life's great today, honestly. Like, I mean, I could sit here and tell you about all the things I have and, you know, the great job I have. But, like, the most surprising, not surprising, but the best feeling I have is just knowing that I don't have to wake up and drink anymore or get high anymore. Like, that's, like, the main focal point. Like, yeah, I was stayed sober long enough to get a great job. I worked in that treatment center I got kicked out of, which is kind of cool. I love it there. I was able to buy myself a brand new car, have my own apartment. I have 2 cats that shit on my floor. but the main thing is just how I was finally able to, like, stay sober and keep it that way. And now I have, like, my family back. You know, they're all proud of me. I talk to them more today than I ever have my whole life. And I just don't have to, you know, I'm not like a prisoner to any sort of substance anymore. And that's, like, a really good feeling. I think that's about it.
Are you sponsoring?
Yes, I'm sponsoring. I have one sponsee right now that's actually doing things. And there's always, like, a few that, like, say they're doing stuff, but then you never hear from them. Or they'll call you, like, once every couple of weeks just to complain about their girlfriend or their job, whatever it is. But, yeah, that's, like, the main point of how I stay sober today. You know, I got to help others. I got to keep that spiritual connection strong. My sponsor always tells me, you know, sobriety or spirituality is like an escalator that's going down, and you're trying to walk up the escalator. Like, as long as you keep moving, you're never going to hit the bottom. But if you stop moving, you will go back down. And that's kind of how I look at my life today.